Hello folks, this is Tom Martin. This is my lottery strategy game, Decoding the Powerball guessing game. I'm picking my numbers to the drawing on February 28th, 2018. I have 7 strategies with my game Decoding the Powerball. So strategy number 1, the game card color code. Okay, so if you've never seen my videos before, what you're looking at is what I call the game card. This represents all 69 white ball numbers in the Powerball lottery. I really don't have anything for the Powerball itself. My goal is to get all 5 white balls correct and win the $2 million prize with the Power Play option. Okay, so first things first is I'm going to go to the Powerball homepage, and the 5 white winning numbers that just came up were the 24, 25, 38, 62, and 63. Again, I really don't care about the red ball. Okay, so what I do is I take those 5 white winning numbers and I put it at the top of this list. And then I take the last 3 drawings of numbers and I transfer these numbers over to the game card as red numbers. Then I'll do the same thing with orange, green, blue, and purple. I have 5 different colors, one to represent each one of the 5 white winning Powerball numbers. So for this drawing here, I have 14 red numbers, 13 orange, 16 green, 13 blue, and 13 purple. And the number of colors changed with every single drawing. Okay, so over to the right, there's 206. This tells me how many color code drawings I kept track of so far. And these are the color code drawings, okay? So out of this 206 drawings, 110 drawings have come up a 3-color combination. Okay, so you can see over here, there's 3. Okay, so you can see that there's 3 orange numbers, a purple, and a blue for 3 colors total. Okay, now 74 drawings have come up a 4-color combination. Okay, so that was the last drawing that came up. You can see that there's 2 green numbers, a purple, a red, and a blue, again for 4 colors total. Okay, so 19 drawings have come up a 2-color combination, and only 3 drawings out of 206 have all 5 colors come up together. Okay, and never has it been just 1 color. Okay, so the strategy is, one of the strategies is to try to guess what the next number is going to be for the upcoming drawing. Okay, so as I look through the history of things here, okay, I'm going to guess that this is going to be another 4. Okay, so when I pick what I think will be the 5 white winning Powerball numbers, I want it to represent 4 colors. Okay, so my overall strategy here is to eliminate numbers. Okay, so again, there's 69 white ball numbers. Only 5 can come up as winners. Okay, so that means 64 numbers can't come up at all. Okay, so for me, I just think it should be easier to pick the numbers that won't be coming up than the 5 that actually do. Okay, so again, since hardly ever do all 5 colors come up together, the strategy is try to guess which one of these colors won't be coming up and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. Okay, so for this drawing here, I'm going to guess that no blue numbers will be coming up. And the reason why is because when I look from this point down to this point, I just see lots of blue in between, okay? So I just think that is due to miss, okay? So I've also been saying that I don't think any blue numbers will be coming up in the last 3-4 drawings, and I've been getting burned. But I'm going to stick with it because I just know that blue's going to miss, at some point, okay? So again, my guess is that no blue numbers will be coming up. So I want to get rid of them. So I'm going to eliminate the blue numbers off of the game card. Okay, so I'm going to scroll to the right to speed things up. And this is what the game card looks like so far with no blue numbers to it. Okay, so when I block out a number like this, this means that I'm not even going to consider this number when I'm picking what I think will be the 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm spending $3 on a Powerball ticket, which includes the Power Play. Okay, so in other words, I'm betting $3 that none of these blue numbers will come up in the next drawing. Okay, so if I'm correct with my pick and none of these blue numbers come up, then I'm one step closer to that $2 million prize. Okay, so I'm off to the next strategy. Strategy number 2, the individual numbers. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the individual numbers. Okay, and how this works is up at the very top is the master for each individual number. Okay, and off to the right here, these are the numbers that just came up in the lottery. Again, it was 24, 25, 38, 62, and 63. Okay, so that comes out to be a 3-group combination. Okay, so I'm going to reduce this down so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so you're going to see that there's 7 groups here total. Okay, so group number 1 holds the numbers of 1 through 9, and then it's the teens, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s. Again, for 7 groups total. Okay, so there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so 2 of these groups won't be able to have a winning Powerball number to it. Okay, so the strategy is try to guess which one of these groups won't have the winning Powerball number to it and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. Okay, so how I use this is this big square here. This is good for 5 drawings. Okay, so I like to break things down into 5. Okay, so I can see what's going on in the history of this. Okay, so another reason why I like to break it down into 5 is because it's easier for me to count backwards. Okay, so I can see that this is 5, 10, 15, 20, and whatnot. Okay, so another reason is I like to see how many hits were in this 5 for this group of numbers here. Okay, so my theory is that if there was a bunch of hits within these 5 drawings, then maybe there won't be so many hits in the next 5 drawings, or vice versa. Okay, so again, I want to eliminate numbers. Okay, so for this drawing here, I'm going to guess that no 30 numbers will be coming up. Okay, and the reason why is just because they've been so hot right here that I just think that it's going to cool off and miss a drawing here. So again, I'm going to guess that no 30 numbers will be coming up. So I want to get rid of them. So I'm going to eliminate the 30 numbers off of the game card. Okay, so another way that I use this is I try to guess what the next number will be over here to the right. Okay, so you can see that the last drawing was a 3-group combination. Okay, so that means that 4 groups didn't come up. Okay, so here's 5 groups. That's the maximum that you could have. Okay, and down here you can see that there was a run of 4 groups here. Okay, so since I haven't seen a 4 here, and 4 comes up actually the most. Okay, so as I go down through, you can see that there's just a bunch of 4s here. Okay, so I'm gonna guess that since it hasn't come up in 4 drawings, 5 drawings, I'm gonna guess that a 4 is gonna come up. Okay, so when I pick what I think will be the 5 white winning Powerball numbers, I want it to represent 4 groups. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to the game card. Okay, and I'm gonna scroll to the right. And this is what the game card looks like so far. Again, with no blue numbers from the color code, and now no 30 numbers from the individual numbers. Okay, so again, I bet $3 that none of those blue numbers will be coming up. And now I'm going to parlay that bet, saying that no 30 numbers will be coming up. Okay, so I'm going to add a bunch more parlays to it. Okay, so I'm going to do that by going to the next strategy. Strategy number 3, picking the numbers I hope will miss from group 1. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call my group 1 numbers. Okay, so basically what I did is I took all the 69 white ball numbers and divided it into 4 different groups. Okay, and I put colors to those groups. Okay, so when the 5 white winning Powerball numbers come up, I record where they land within these groups down here in the stats. Okay, so here's the red for the red area, the blue, the orange, and the green. Okay, so I have 15 of these option cards, and they all kind of look the same as far as red, blue, orange, green. Okay, it's just that the numbers that they represent are a little bit different from each other. Okay, so as I go back to the Powerball homepage, again, the 5 white winning numbers that just came up were the 24, 25, 38, 62, and 63. Okay, so you can see that the 24 is in the blue. Okay, so down here in the blue stats, you can see that I put a 1, and of course that 1 represents that 24. Okay, so over here in the red, this is the 25. Now you can see that the 65 is here as well, and I'm going to explain this in a second. But basically, the 25 and the 65 share this square. Okay, so I'm going to put this 1 down here, and that represents the 25 in that red area. Okay, then over here in the green, the 38, the 62, and the 63 are all in green, so I put 3 down here in the green area. Okay, and there was no winning Powerball numbers in the orange area, so I put a 0 here. Okay, so the strategy is try to guess where these zeros are going to pop up. Okay, so if I could have correctly guessed that none of these orange numbers were going to come up in the last drawing, I could have eliminated these numbers, okay, and really gave myself a better chance at picking the 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so it's simple. Less numbers to choose from is better. Okay, so as I go back to the game card here, I'm going to explain about this 25 and 65, how it shares the square. Okay, so when I go back to the game card, you can see that this 25 is red and the 65 is purple. Okay, so that's why I don't have the 25 crammed in with the 65 on the same square here. I need some separation because of the color code. Okay, so if I wanted to get rid of all the purple numbers, I would have eliminated the 65, but the 25 would still be in play. Okay, so, but if I wanted to get rid of all the red numbers here in group 1, I would get rid of the 25 and the 65 together as a group. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm keeping track of groups of numbers and trying to predict whether they're going to come up or not come up in the lottery. Okay, so my pick here is I'm going to pick that option card number 7 will have no green numbers come up. Okay, so I'm going to go to option card number 7. And again, I have 15 of these option cards. And the reason why I have 15 is because I want as many options as possible to try to guess where these zeros are going to pop up. Okay, so again, I think that no green numbers are going to come up on this option card number 7, so I want to get rid of them. So I'm going to eliminate the green numbers off of the game card. Okay, so again, the reason why I'm picking this one is because there's a bunch of single green numbers here, a bunch of single blue numbers, blue zeros. Okay, so every once in a while, the zeros will double up or even triple up or quadruple up even. Okay, so as I'm looking through here, I just see a bunch of single zeros, okay? And I just think that it's due to double up like this, okay? So if I'm correct, and I think that this is going to double up, then that means that none of these green numbers will be coming up in the next drawing, okay? So again, I don't think that they will be, so I'm going to eliminate them off of the game card. Okay, so I'm going to scroll to the right. And this is what the game card looks like so far with those no green numbers from option card number 7. Okay, so I'm going to go back to group 1. And my next pick is going to be option card number 9, no red numbers. Okay, so this is kind of the same reason. Okay, as I go down through, you can see that there's a bunch of single zeros. Okay, so I just think that it's due to double up, like right down here. Okay. So I think there's going to be a 0 right here. So I don't think any of these red numbers will be coming up, so I want to get rid of them. So I'm going to eliminate those red numbers off of the game card. So I'm going to scroll to the right. And this is what the game card looks like so far. Okay, so I'm going to go back to group 1. And my next pick is going to be option card 13, no red numbers. Okay, so the reason why I'm picking this is you can see that it already doubled up, okay? But as I go down through the history of things, you can see that things actually have tripled up in some of these columns here, okay? So with this red area, it just hasn't really tripled up, okay? Or maybe it has just one time, where the other columns have tripled up a couple times. So I'm over here, okay? And again, I don't see any triple zeros here, okay? So I just think that it's due to happen, okay? So I'm going to guess that there's going to be a 0 right here, okay? So I'm going to eliminate these red numbers off of the game card. Okay, so I'm going to scroll to the right. And this is what the game card looks like so far. Okay, so you can see that I'm knocking down these numbers step by step here. Okay, so if I made all the correct picks so far, none of those numbers will be coming up in the drawing. So that means that the 5 white winning Powerball numbers will be one of these numbers that are still left on the board. Okay, hopefully I made all the correct picks so far. Okay, so I'm going to go back to group 1 and I'm going to make a final pick, and that's option card 14, no green numbers. Okay, and much of the same, I think it's going to triple up as far as this 0 here. Okay, so as I scroll down through, you can see that a triple hasn't come up, but it has come up over here on the other columns. Okay, so it's been a long time since it has. Okay, you can see that it has right here. All right, and that's it. Okay, so as I look over at the other columns, you can see that here's one right here. Okay, as I keep on going up, here's one. Here's a quadruple. Okay, here's one here. Here's another one. Okay, so I just think that this is due to happen. Okay, so I'm just kind of working with the natural layout of things. Okay, if you will. So again, I think that this is going to be a 0. I don't think that any of these green numbers are going to come up, so I want to get rid of them. So I'm going to eliminate them off of the game card. Okay, so I'm going to scroll down, and this is what the game card looks like so far. Okay, so I'm all done eliminating numbers from group 1. So now I'm off to the next strategy. Strategy number 4, picking the numbers I hope will miss from group 2. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call my group 2 numbers. So much like group 1, where I divided things into 4 different groups, here I divided things into 8 different groups. Okay, so again, there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so 3 of these groups won't be able to have a winning Powerball number to it. Okay, so the strategy is try to guess which one of these groups won't have the winning Powerball number to it and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. Okay, so how I use this is I have 15 of these option cards as well. Okay, and they all kind of look the same as far as red, blue, orange, green, purple, brown, gray, yellow. Okay, it's just that the numbers that they represent are a little bit different from each other from each different option card. Okay, so I'm going to point out this red area here. Okay, so the stats for the red area is down here. So you can see this 0, and that means that none of the 5 white winning Powerball numbers landed in this red area. And this 2 means that, of course, 2 out of the 5 white winning Powerball numbers landed in this red area. Okay, so I like to keep track of every 5 drawings. Okay, and the reason why is because it shows me a majority of things. Okay, so when I see if there's at least 3 zeros, I'm going to color this blue for cold. If there's 3 hits, I color it red for hot. Okay, so as I go down through the history of things, okay, when I see something that's very hot, okay, well, because the lottery is so random, it's going to change eventually. Nothing can stay hot forever, and nothing can stay cold forever. Okay, so when I see something that's really hot, well, eventually it's going to turn cold. Okay, and that's where I'm going to predict that none of those numbers are going to come up. Okay, so I'm right down here. Okay, So my first pick is option card number 5. No yellow numbers. Okay, so as I go to option card number 5 here, okay, here's the stats for the yellow. And as I head down through, you can see that things were pretty cold, but then they started to heat up a little bit. Okay, so now I think that this is going to be a 0 right here. So I want to get rid of these yellow numbers. Okay, so I'm going to eliminate these yellow numbers off of the game card. Okay, so I'm going to scroll to the left now. And this is what the game card looks like so far. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to group 2, and my next pick is option card number 9, no gray numbers. Okay, so as I go to option card number 9 here, here's the grays, the stats for the gray numbers. Okay, so as I head down through, you can see that things got pretty hot here, and now I think there's going to be a miss. So I think there's going to be a 0 right here. Okay, so I'm going to eliminate these gray numbers off of the game card. So you can see it's the 10, 67, 7, and 30. Okay, so I'm going to scroll to the left. And this is what the game card looks like so far. Okay, so I'm getting these numbers down. Okay, hopefully I made all the correct picks, and the 5 white winning Powerball numbers are still left on the board. Okay, so I'm going to go back to group 2, and my last pick is going to be option card 14, no gray numbers. Again, I have 15 option cards total. Okay, so here's the gray numbers, the stats for the gray, and as I head down through, you can see things got really, really hot here, and now I think there's going to be a 0 right here. Okay, so I'm going to eliminate these gray numbers off of the game card. Okay, so you can see that the 24 and the 41 are the only ones that left from that gray area. So as I scroll over, you can see that the I must have added in the option card number 12 as well. So I'm going to scroll down, and option card number 14, no gray numbers. So you can see that there's no 24 or 49. Okay, so I'm all done eliminating numbers. Okay, so I started off with 69 white ball numbers. Okay, and now I'm down to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so again, if I'm correct with my pick, and the magic word is if. Okay, if I'm correct with all my picks, then the 5 white winning Powerball numbers should be still left on the board here. Okay, so now it's time to pinpoint which ones are going to come up. So I'm going to go to my next strategy to do that. And that's strategy number 5, the 50-50 picks. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the 50-50 picks. Okay, so again, there's 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so there's going to be a majority of either odd numbers or even numbers, or numbers to the high side or numbers to the low side. Okay, so I like to keep track of that and try to guess what the majority will be for the upcoming drawing. Okay, so how this works is this 250 is how many drawings I kept track of so far. And that's since October 7th, 2015. That's when the Powerball lottery went from 59 numbers to 69 numbers. Okay, so out of this 250 drawings, 126 have been the majority of odd numbers, and 124 have been the majority of even numbers. Okay, so here I like to break things down into 5 as well, so I can see the majority of things. Okay, so out of these 5 drawings, the majority were odd numbers that came up. Okay, 3 drawings to 2. And then it was the majority of odd numbers, 4 drawings to 1. Okay, and then 4 to 1, 3 to 2. Okay, so I can go back and see what the majority has been for those 5 drawings, and then try to guess what the majority will be for the next 5 drawings. Okay, so that's the same thing with the highs and lows of things here. Okay, and I also have left and right, and I also have this red and blue area here. Okay, so the only one that I really feel comfortable guessing at is this left and right here. So you can see that the right side had 4 drawings in a row where the majority has been over to this right side. Okay, so that doesn't happen very often. Okay, it hardly ever goes 5. Okay, I mean, you saw that one where it went 5 here, but it hardly ever does. Okay, so I'm just going to guess that it's not going to go 5 again. So I think the majority of the numbers will come up on the left side. Okay, so when I pick my numbers, when I pick what I think will be the 5 white winning Powerball numbers, I want it to represent at least 3 of them over here to the left side. Okay, so one last thing that I have is for the Powerball itself. Okay, so this is that red number. I do have something for it. Okay, so in this column here, a blue number means that it's a low number. Okay, so there's 26 red balls total. So if it's a blue number here, it means that it's low, 1 to 13. And if it's a red number, it means it's high, 14 to 26. Okay, and in this column over here, a red number means that it's odds, and a blue number means that it's evens. Okay, so now I just kind of look at the colors. Okay, so if there's a long streak of blue here, well, eventually it's going to turn red. Okay, so I actually think it's going to be red for this time. So when the Powerball number comes up, I think it's going to be an odd number. Okay, and over here, I think it's going to be red as well. So that means it's going to be a high number. Okay, so I think the Powerball number will be a high odd number. Okay, so as I head back to the game card here, I'm going to scroll over to the right. Okay, and you can see the 50-50 picks. The only one that I felt comfortable was I think the majority is going to be over here to the left side. Okay, so off to the next strategy. Okay, strategy number 6, pick the numbers I hope will hit from groups 1 and 2. Okay, so as I go back to this group 2 here, I'm only going to pick from group 2 today. Okay, so again, all these option cards kind of look the same as far as red, blue, orange, green, purple, brown, gray, yellow. Okay, it's just that the numbers that they represent are a little bit different from each other, from each different option card. Okay, so as I head down through, what this means is that I have 15 red areas, 15 blue areas, 15 orange, and so on. Okay, so I like to keep track of all these red areas and blue areas as a group. Okay, I call it the group 2 overview. Okay, and I keep that over here. Okay, so I'm going to scroll over, and this is what the group 2 overview looks like. Okay, so you can see that in all the red areas here, the last drawing, the red areas had 6 hits, 9 misses. Okay, so the magic number here is 8. Okay, so if there's 8 or more misses, I color this blue for cold. If there's 8 or more hits, I color it red for hot. Okay, so now I can look at the colors again, okay, and try to guess what the color will be. Okay, so if I think that this is going to be red right here, then that means I think there's going to be a lot of hits in those green areas of option card number 2. Okay, so I think there's going to be a lot of hits here in the red. Okay, and I think there's going to be a lot of hits here in the green. Okay, so that's all I'm going to concentrate on. So I'm going to scroll down here. Okay. Okay, so how I done this here is this is the red area for option card number 1, group 2. Okay, so this is option card number 1. So the red is the one down to the 57. Okay, so as I look through here, the only one left is the 65. And again, that shares the square with the 25. So I have to put both of those in, the 25 and the 65. I'm not sure what's going to come up. They may both come up. Okay, so this is how I kind of do things. Okay, so I'm off to option card number 2. And the red area is the 1 through the 66. Okay, so the 8 and the 66 share this square. Okay, but the only one that's left is the 4 and the 6. So you can see that I wrote down the 4 and the 6. Okay, So I did that with all 15 option cards. Okay, and these are the numbers that I came up with. Okay, so I'm off to the next strategy. Strategy number 7, picking my numbers. Okay, so the numbers that I'm going to go with for this drawing are the 4, 13, 27, 63, and 65. Okay, so as I look at this, again, I wanted 4 colors from the color code. Okay, so I got green, red, orange, another red, and a purple for 4 colors total. Okay, I also wanted 4 groups from the individual numbers. So you can see that the 4s in a separate group, the 13s in the teens, the 20s, and 2 60s for 4 groups total. Okay, so also with the red, I thought it was going to be more 8 hits or more. So you can see that as you head down through, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so that's how I came up with this number 8 right here. I think there's going to be 8 hits out of those 15 option cards. Okay, and of course 8 or more, I color this red for hot. Okay, and over here in the green, I think there's going to be 11 hits and 4 misses in those green areas. Okay, so that's how I came up with this. Okay, so hopefully I made all the correct picks here in the 4, 13, 27, 63, and 65. Hopefully they'll come up for me. Okay, so again, that's how I do things. Okay, if you're interested in my game for yourself to pick your own numbers through my game, you can go to my webpage, and that's www.patreon.com/decoding the Powerball, or you can email me personally at decodingpowerball@gmail.com. Again, that's decodingpowerball@gmail.com. All right, folks, if you like the content of my channel, then please subscribe. Okay, and again, I always like to wish everybody the best of luck at picking your own numbers. All right. Thanks for watching, folks.